This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Rounds to crown a champion. Vastly different circuits have been visited throughout the season, and it all comes down to the last track on the calendar. 11 and 17 points are the differences going into the championship deciders for both driver championships. The stage is set, and it couldn't be a more historic and challenging stage than the infamous Nürburgring Nordschleife. So join us as we get ready to watch round 12 of the Grand Prix Legend Series live on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Ryan Walker, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes, our director Sean Rex Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by great Dougie Beard. This track barely needs an introduction. Filled with history, emotions and passion, the track around the castle at Nürburgring is simply legendary. So without further ado, let us take you around an immortal lap in our renowned Cheesersty track guide.
Alright, we've got Billy Bob Wright in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around the Nordschleife. The Nord curve has deceptively early braking because of its downhill entry, so be on your guard. From there, we're going to skip ahead since there's not enough time to show you a full lap. The 49 is unique in that it's a car on iRacing that can actually get air at Flugplatz. That makes the double apexer that follows even more terrifying. Just up the road, you'll get another little hop just before the braking for the Swedish cross. Hug the left side as best you can so that you can set yourself up for Ehrenberg. You don't want to put a wheel in the grass on the right anyway, since there's almost no coming back if you do. Expect a few pass attempts into here throughout the race. Then, if we jump ahead to compression, that leads us directly into Audner Forst. The tight barriers in this series of S's means you really don't want to mess around. Races end incredibly quickly when drivers lose it on entry. Like most S's, ideally you want to set yourself up for each subsequent corner through here. Once you get around the final right-hander, open up the throttle and let it fly. Farther along at the bottom of the hill, X-Mule may prove tricky in putting the power down. The way the track crests on exit tends to take the grip away. From there, bring the car across the track and then lift to make it through Lauda Lakes. You can take it faster, but you want the car settled for the heavy braking into Bergwerks. Try not to early apex this uphill bend. Being able to straighten off the exit will pay off in speed climbing the mountain. Now, Bravery Corner is scary in most cars, but in the 49, you'll be lifting even before the braking zone just to keep it on the right line. The bumps get emphasized with this car's lack of downforce, and so much of driving the car revolves around dealing with that. And then, of course, there's the infamous carousel. Spot your brake marker, swing it in from the outside, and hold a consistent speed around the banking. Be easy on the gas coming out because the car won't grip quickly. Across the top of the mountain, you've got another spot where you'll get airborne with Flansgarten. Don't push your luck because you need the car planted when you land to get through the uphill right-hander. Over the hill, you've got another scary little hop just at this left kink. It's easy to get out of shape here. Then, there's the fast entry into Swallowtail, which is another place where losing control is almost always a race ender. Slow the car up as you guide it through the right-hand sweeper, then try to carry speed over the crest of the left-hand bend. From there, it's a short burst to the mini carousel. Coming off of here can be tough since the Lotus doesn't like to accelerate and turn at the same time. Stay to the left for the right line into Gallow Hill. This extremely long corner requires patience and practice to figure out just how soon you can put your foot to the floor. And the sooner you can do that, the better because it dumps you onto the Dotting Hoa. Another thing unique to the Lotus is that Antonius Beach isn't quite flat out. If this kink scares you, you're not alone. That sets us up for Tiergarten, which presents the difficult task of slowing the car and changing direction multiple times. Once you reach Hohenrun, if you don't have control of the car, you're probably going to be hitting something. Keep it tight to the apexes, and then don't forget that turn 13 is deceptively slow. Hopefully you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around the Nordschleife.
Joe Peak doing what nobody can do better, driving and talking you a lap around the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Ryan, what else can you add to those things Joe just talked about?
So yeah, fantastic track is the Nürburgring, but some little details that I'll make quick before we grid. Yes, the track is 12.94 miles in length for 20.82 kilometers if you prefer to use that. Has a staggering 73 turns, 40 of them being right-handers and 33 of them being left-handers. And is located close to the town of Nürburgring.
Now, as already mentioned, the F1 Drivers' Championship extremely close between Rob Bolanek, 391 points to his name, versus Roman Pawlowski, only 11 points behind. We have to go a little bit quicker over this because we're already getting ready to grid. Michael Hatch in third, Michel Tadino already 100 points behind in fourth, and Sadro 50 points behind that in fifth place. Ryan, how are we looking for the F2 Championship?
Yep, F2 Championship's being led by Bill Tyler at the moment, but close behind him is Antonio Rees in second, and then third place is Andrew Eng, a further 100 points behind Antonio Rees, and Colin Coker is in fourth, and rounding out the top five is David Rossi.
Last but not least, we have another championship. That is the Nations Cup, like they had back then in the Lotus 49 days. United States leading that one ahead of Germany, 26 points behind. 45 points behind that is the United Kingdom. France, fourth place, 180 points already behind. And Portugal right now sitting in fifth place in that. I think that is all we have time right now for the pre-race details. So let's head quickly over to the grid, which will be led by Michel Dedinot ahead of Scott Michaels. Owe Trengate in third, Rob Olenek fourth. Xavier Sanchez will be in fifth place with Billy Bob Wright in sixth. Pawlowski will be lining up in seventh place alongside Fabrizio Messani. And Bill Tyler ninth place with Sebastian Tixier in 10th. But the motors are already getting harmonized. Green flag is out. We're ready to race here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. It's a great start for the front row. Scott Michaels already getting past Michel Tadino into turn one. So that's already quite a big thing for here. Owe Trengate in third place. Rob Olnick fourth. Billy Bob right up to fifth place from his sixth place starting grid. Xavier Sanchez sixth. And we're starting to single file already.
Yeah, I'm just checking throughout the field as well. It looks like everyone's made it through the first few corners without any issues. But this will be a long first lap, so there might be some issues, but so far so good.
Roman Pawlowski, the biggest contender, or rather challenger for that F1 championship, is sitting still in 7th place, if I've got that calculated correctly, as the first time they had over Flugplatz. Seems like everybody able to keep it perfectly on the ground and keep their car under control at landing.
As they come through this fast left-hander.
Trengate. Whoa, that's a slide enough for Trengate there over Schwedenkreuz. All right, go ahead.
I was just about to say the same thing. They were just coming over that little crest there, and some of the cars were getting a bit sketchy, but no, all still on one piece as come through here at the moment. It's still at the moment by the looks of it. It's still Scott
big
Michaels
wreck in behind, just over Schwedenkreuz. Adrian Moreno Zurita, a car under loss of control, gets hit quite heavily by someone behind. Now also Sebastian Tixier finds himself in a wall at Adenauer Force as we get on to replay to show you what happened in that first wreck. Whew, that's a hit and a half.
Yeah, that was a big one. That's just proving that the Nordschleife will bite you. And it's basically, unfortunately, took out a couple of cars, possibly.
Back to the front we go once again, where Scott Michaels is leading the race right now ahead of Michel Tadino over Trengate, the Norwegian driver, still in third place. Driving his car as always more sideways than straight. Something that can bite you sometimes. But Ryan, what we have seen over the few times that the Lotus 49 has visited the Nordschleife, over Trengate, always one of the fastest cars around here. But his driving style loves to bite him if he's not careful enough.
I've watched him a few times this season so far, and it's a good point you bring up about his driving style. He seems to be very, very quick, but he seems to have a kind of a his driving style seems to be erratic. He likes to throw the car around, but like you pointed out, it seems to bite him most of the time. So maybe next season, if he does race his car again, he might require a different driving style adaptation.
Let's see how this one is going to go. A little bit into the grass there for him after Bergwerk, but it's not going to do too much as they go past Klostertal for the first time. Only about 5 laps they have to race here because of the length of this track. Yeah, Rob Olenek not really able to keep up with the top 3 right now, sitting in 4th place. Billy Bob Wright a little bit behind that. In 4th, Xavier Sanchez in 5th place, with Ron Paslowski just behind Sanchez in 6th place. Actually, 7th, sorry. He's in 7th place with Xavier Sanchez in 6th place.
I'm just looking further back in the pack as well in the top 10 at the moment. The man leading in the F2 Championship at the moment, Bill Tyler, he's sitting in that top 10, and Chris Crucially is in front of Antonio Rees in the championship. So if Bill Tyler finishes where he is at the moment, or just finishes his race in front of Antonio, he should, by my reckoning, he should have this F2 Championship wrapped up possibly.
Yeah, he's right now quite good situated in that virtual battle, with him sitting in 9th place and Antonio Rees only in 21st, right behind Colin Coker, trying to make that move inside the top 20. Antonio is. But I don't think that through this part of the track they're gonna be able to make too many moves, as our top drivers already made their way past Kesselchen, or YouTube Corner it's also called. Now getting slowly towards the Kleine Sprunghügel, which is being followed by the extremely tricky Stefan Bellof S. As it also seems that Rob Olenek had a big problem moment there through the double right-hander. Let's ride on board with him on our GSRC replay. Lands it perfectly, gets a little bit wide. Oh, that could have been very costly. Not only on track, but also in the championship for Rob Olenek. Able to keep everything together. So he is still going in 4th place, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was a little bit of a Code Brown moment there for him, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say it. Could have. I was going to say something else or describe it in a different
Ron
way,
Paslowski with a spin, not really through dotting. He keeps it together, but he had to collect himself on the wall. Roman Paslowski, that could have been the championship decider right there. I think his car is damaged. He is moving around in it. Doesn't seem very straight right now to drive, a little bit erratic. Let's see how it's gonna handle over Tiergarten. Comes now into the left and a little bit sideways. That's normal for the Lotus 49. This is going to be really telling the Hohen Rhein. Seems okay to drive right now, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm just having a look around his car at the moment from my view, and I can't see any visible damage. But yeah, that'll be a Code Brown moment for Roman. That'll wake him up, that's for sure. But yeah, it just looks like he might have just rubbed the wall possibly, and just maybe just a slight bit of suspension damage. But just looking at his onboard at the moment, he might just have some dents in the front end, but nothing major at the moment. But it might affect his straight line speed.
Yeah, seems like he lost it a little bit there over the curb, and that's why he hit the wall. Lucky break for him nonetheless, as Michel Dudignon also managed to get past Scott Michaels somewhere up to Hudson-Bach over Trangrade with big problems after Flugplatz. A little bit too deep into that one, as we're going to take you to the replay of the pass for the lead between Michel Dudignon and Scott Michaels. Let's see what's going to happen. Oh, it's gonna be down the long backstretch up to Tiergarten. On the draft, he goes to the right side. And even before the bridge, he's already passed over Trengrid. Tried to have a look himself as well, but he decided better of all of that as they made their way up to Hohenrhein. Back to the live pictures, we once again go. They're already heading through the Adenauer Forst. Seems like Michel Tadino right now a little bit faster than both Scott Michaels and Ove Trengrid. Already got himself a gap of about a second back to second place.
As a battle for the battle between Tyler and N is still going on at the moment. This is a battle for P10 at the moment, and yeah, Andrew N is another person in the F2 Championship, sitting third in the championship. He's still mathematically, as I get my words out, in with a chance of the championship. So if Bill Tyler and Antonio Reyes have issues, he could possibly still take the championship, but he's got slim chances at the moment.
If I remember correctly, it's 45 points between Eng in third place and the car ahead of him, and that is Bill Tyler. Still sitting very nicely in that 10th place, and with that, very securely in the top spot of the F2 Championship. Riding on board with Andrew Eng there behind Bill Tyler. They're always also getting a little bit caught by Peter Mikas in behind, so that's a 3-car train now. But we're gonna go up once again because we might see soon that pass for second place between Scott Michaels and Ove Trengrid, as they're gonna head now up to the Kesselchen. Don't think anything will happen through the Mutkurve. Passing wise it is, but always a dangerous spot on this track, no matter what car you race. Ove Trengrid doesn't take as much speed through Mutkurve as Scott Michael seems like. Ove Trengrid has a little bit of an understeer issue through that fast left-hander.
Yeah, I was watching his steering inputs, and it looks like he was having to use more steering input or steering log than he wanted to. Just the front doesn't seem to be gripping up, but he's still real close to Scott Michaels at the moment, and I think it's only a matter of time before Ove makes a move for second place.
Watch out though for Rob Olenek in behind right now, sitting in fourth place. He's starting to catch the two ahead of him, and that would just make his first place even more secure than it is already. Sitting in fourth place with Roman Paslowski still trailing in seventh place in behind him with the little damage that he got from his wall hit. I don't think that Roman will go too much further up the field anymore.
There's a rider on board with still riding on board with Rob Olenek. At the moment, he's sitting back behind Trengrid and Michaels at the moment, and I think he might be able to close on them on the long back straight due to the slipstream. But at the moment, Rob seems to be more than content to just sit behind at the moment.
Ove Trengrid, though, he doesn't want to sit behind Scott Michaels, as you can see from the onboard of Rob Olenek. Ove Trengrid looking left, right, and nearly center in behind Scott Michaels, trying to get a little bit into the mind of Scott Michaels, trying to force that mistake, but right now not happening in the name of Scott Michaels. Still sitting in second place, Michel Denino already streaking away. Now the gap is up to 2.5 seconds between Scott Michaels and Michel Denino. So Scott with that well outside the draft. Let's see as they head through Schwabenschwanz what is going to happen now as they head once again between Dottingerhöhe and Tiergarten, the very, very long backstretch. Through the right-hander, you can always go quite early on the throttle. Ove Trengrid a little bit sideways as we take you on to the replay, as there was a little bit of troubles in behind. On board there, whoa! Edward van Velsen, that's not how you take your line through the Stefan Bellofes.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wild ride for Edward there. I'm not sure what happened. Just looking about. Oh, he clipped down the curb and he just lost it, I think. And yeah, oh, actually, he might have just lost it over the crest possibly, and just they lost the car and hit the wall, and that was it. He was just a passenger, and yeah, again, the Nordschleife claims another victim.
Also, it does seem like that Mikus got caught up in that wreck. Let's have a look here with Peter Mikus on board with him. There is Edward still sliding, and sure enough, that was Peter Mikus losing his car as well. No, he doesn't! What a save by Peter Mikus! That is the save of the season for sure.
Yeah, that was an awesome save, and I was I'm gobsmacked that he never lost it and hit the wall. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for that save.
Meanwhile, we were on the replay of that wreck. We also have the news that Scott Michaels got passed by Overtrain as pretty much expected, up to Tiergarten. Rob Olenek wasn't able to make a move himself, decided to stay behind Scott Michaels, who is dying to have a little bit of problems with consistency, as we have seen just a few moments ago through Flugplatz. Now he goes off track at Schwedenkreuz. Can he save his car to not run into Rob Olenek? Yes, he can. Keeps it on the grass nice and safely. But that means that Scott Michaels now back into 4th place.
He's right on board with him in the replay, and it looks like yeah, just look at the replay. He might have just lost it in corner entry over that hill, and just yeah, he just lost the rear end, and he was so close to hitting that wall, but luckily managed to keep it out and keep the brakes on so he didn't run into Rob Olenek. But yeah, yeah, he seems to be struggling with consistency a little bit. Scott, he doesn't seem to be able to keep up the pace that he had in the early stages of the race. So I don't know if he's struggling with something maybe like stutters or something like that.
I don't know, it more seems like Overtrain Grade was successful at getting into his head, and he is still struggling with his composure right now. Good thing is, though, that Billy Bob Wright is still about 6.5 seconds behind him in 5th place. So Scott Michaels can take a little bit of time right now to regain that said composure and get back into the game, because still Rob Olenek is only about 2 seconds ahead of him. So that podium could still be on for Michaels. Let's head you a little bit further back to the battle for P19. That's between Donald Peak and Rodney Evans. Donald Peak, one of our many F2 drivers in this series, as they now head themselves through Adenauer Forst. It's actually a total of, yeah, you could say 4-car train. Don Good and Marco Ravioli also in that battle. They are with quite a big gap, safe to 23rd position, about 39 seconds between Ravioli and Jasmine Beach, sitting in 23rd right now. Seems like Donald Peak doing a little bit the scared version of the Nürburgring, driving quite a lot in the middle of the track, not extending the track too much right now, but hey, as long as it works for you, and it sure does right now for Donald.
Absolutely, it seems to be, from my experience.
Speaking of it, commentator's curse.
Yeah, you just about done it there, but yeah, Don seems to be. Yeah, Donald Peak, I should say. I keep getting his name wrong, but yeah, my apologies. But he seems to be having a good race at the moment, and from my experience racing around the Nürburgring, he seems to be doing quite well.
Something happened with Colin Coker. I don't know when it happened, but I see him not having his nose anymore, and he seems to be a little bit struggling right now with his car. He started this lap in 15th. He's right now trying to defend 16th from Antonio Rees, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rees is able to soon get past him. Yeah, look at how much speed difference there is between Coker and Reese. Reese actually decides to get quite off the throttle. Would also be a good idea for Colin there. Quite squirrely there through that right-left chicane sort of thing in front of Moodkurve. Colin Coker hanging on for dear life behind the wheel of his Lotus 49. Oh, another big slide for Coker. This should open up the door for Antonio Reese. Decides once again to stay out of it. I don't think that that's right now a very good idea for Antonio Reese. He's getting held up quite a lot. Andres Bruno not too far anymore behind him. And Brandon Cleveland really running away from Colin Coker and Reese.
Yeah, Antonio can't really afford to do anything risky at the...
Did we have another issue with Peter Mikus? Yes, indeed, he is in the pit lane. Let's see what happened. Oh no, it seems like YouTube corner got him, possibly? Let's have a look. Oh, it's starting to happen before YouTube corner. Don't think a lot of cameras were on him on that point. Noses it into the wall. And then also into the rear. And that's a lot of damage for me, because has to park the car. And that's his race done. Already pretty much halfway, or pretty much all through the long backstretch. Michel Terino still leading on that third lap ahead of Overtrangerate, but Overtrangerate, as we said earlier, he's one of the fastest drivers around this track, and it shows yet again as he's able to close that 2.5 second gap that he once had to Michel Dudignon, and he is now just about a second in behind over the line. Fifth place, also very, very, very contested, Ryan. That's between Billy Bob Wright and Xavier Sanchez.
Yeah, this battle's been going on for, excuse me, quite a while. Yeah, these guys are close together, and Xavier Sanchez, who I believe is famous for streaming on Twitch, is right behind Billy Wright. So this battle, like I said, has been going on for a while, and I think it's only a matter of time before Xavier gets by. I think it's just a matter of when, because around this section of the track, it's mainly basically one-line corners.
It sure does seem like so. Also, I think we have another retiree. Jasmine Beach is now in pit lane. Don't know if that is because of damage or what really is happening there. Either way, we're still on the battle here for 5th place between Xavier Sanchez and Billy Bob Wright. Let's see how Sanchez is able to get up to Schwedenkreuz. Story has it that the tax collector of Adenau in 1627 was robbed and killed by a stray Swedish army. And to honor him, they have built a 2.9 meter high cross here that still stands on the left side of that hill at Schwedenkreuz. They're able to successfully go through that one already. Up into Adenauer Force they go. We're having in total about 3 battles right now. The one for first place between Dudignon and Trangerate, then the one that we're watching right now between Billy Bob Wright and Xavier Sanchez, and then also back all the way in P18 between Donald Pick and Don Good. That's also still a battle going on, as we're gonna head once again up for the lead. That's still between Michel Dudignon and Overtrangerate as they make their way to Breitscheid, which also is the lowest point of this track.
Is right on board with Overtrangerate at the moment, right behind the leader, Michel Dudignon, and I'm just been looking at Trangrade's lap times at the moment over the past couple of laps, and his pace is about 1 or 2 seconds quicker than Dudignon at the moment. I think it's only a matter of time before Ove makes a move for the lead, and possibly pulls away, but there's still got about 2 laps remaining, so I don't want to jinx Ovi.
1.5 laps still to go. Should be about 15 or so minutes until they see the checkered flag. A little short note also for Breitscheid, that once was the proposed start-finish line for the neighboring Nordschleife, but there was landowner that just didn't want to give away all that land for the pit boxes. Thus, that plan never came through, and we came up with the start-finish line that we have nowadays just in front of Hatzenbach, and right now I would say it's a good idea that we have the start-finish line right where it is nowadays.
As the battle for P5 is still going on at the moment between Billy Bob Wright and Xavier Sanchez, these guys are still close together, and I'm looking at these guys' times at the moment as well, and they're not really that much slower or quicker than each other. So the times seem to be quite close. So, but I think Xavier's best chance is on the back straight if he can get a good run, a good entry onto the back straight, and possibly use that slipstream to good effect.
By the way, our battle for P18 also saw a fast and the zone peak had some issues over Flugplatz, nosed it heavy into the wall there. So Don Good now has that 18th place quite securely. Michel Todino, though, anything but secure in first place. Same thing with that 5th place battle. Billy Bob Wright still clinging on to that 5th place, but it really does seem like Xavier Sanchez is the faster car in that battle. Just can't find a way past that blue and white car of Billy Bob Wright.
I'm just looking throughout the field as well again, and it looks like everyone's spread out. We've got a battle for the lead, and we've got this battle for P5, and it seems to be the rest of the pack has settled down a little bit.
Over Trengrid had a little bit of a mistake himself, now 1.2 seconds behind Michel Todino, but don't worry, that gap is going to close once again. They had after Döttinger on the long backstretch, because he's still very much in the draft range, just as Xavier Sanchez, who were looking over the shoulder of the Spaniard.
These guys coming up to the double left-hander, up to the mini carousel, and they're coming up to, after that will be the run up to the back straight. So it looks like Xavier's getting closer and closer all the time. If he's close enough onto the back straight, you'll be able to make a move.
Yeah, let's have a look. Xavier Sanchez now after Döttinger is gathering up speed, already starting to be faster than Billy Bob Wright. There he comes into the draft. Draft effect is quite strong in the Lotus 49, goes to the right side, has a speed difference of about, 5 kilometers an hour, already past Billy Bob Wright, doesn't even need the left-hander at Tiergarten. Thus, Xavier Sanchez, the new 5th place driver of this field, as our leaders head into the last lap.
Yep, and this battle's coming up to the final couple of corners, and these guys will come across as they back up at the front of our leaders. It's still De Dion's under pressure from Ove Trengrade.
Trengrade had the fastest lap of the race, just that last lap, a 6:29.751 the lap was versus 6:30.1 for Michel Todino. So only 4/10 faster for Ove Trengrade, but 4/10 is all he would need to get securely past Michel Todino up to Tiergarten as they head through Flugplatz. Ove Trengrade using that landing a little bit as a turn in already, quite nicely and fast through Flugplatz he goes.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wild. Ooh, as he gets a bit sideways over the crest there, and Ove is giving it everything to try and catch up and make a move on Michel.
Also, Scott Michaels is starting to close in on Rob Olenek for 3rd place, but we're going to stay on board here with Ove Trengrade for now and see if he's able to close in And Michel Dudinot up to, I don't know, fourth. Doesn't really look like it. Obviously, you have to pick your spots. Overturning rate a little bit wide there over the crest. Able to keep it together though, as Sanchez and Wright had a little bit of a close moment with Billy Bob Wright just too fast through Schwedenkreuz. Nothing happened though. They're still about 6/10 away. Oh, a little bit heavy there over the curbs, just before Adam Berg. Oh, sorry, Kallenhardt, that is. A lucky moment for Ove Trengrid as he nearly lost control of his Lotus through the triple apex. They go. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where Ove Trengrid is stronger than Michel Dudinot, and I don't really see any difference in those two except for the driving style.
Yeah, the Michel's driving style seems to be, at the moment, from what I'm watching, he seems to be very smooth with his inputs. He seems to be he's not wrestling the car around. Unlike Ove, I'm watching him and his steering inputs. His steering wheels is moving around all the time, and it's just he's absolutely giving it everything and just throwing his car around to try anything to try and get by Michel. But the only place I can think of that Ove can make a move is on that long back straight, unless Michel makes a mistake and possibly runs wide or even hits the wall.
Yeah, and we're starting to get close to the end of the track as Ove Trengrid makes a big mistake. They're going into Kesselchen. That's not going to help him very much in his hopes and dreams for that first place finish here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. If you have just joined us, we're already the last lap of this 5-lap race. But don't worry, you have still about 2 minutes of Lotus 49 racing to go as our drivers head into Stahlstreck. Ove Trengrid, still his car as ever, loose and nice. He likes it that way, and this is now the part where Michel Dudinot used to be quite a bit stronger than Ove Trengrid over the last few laps. Let's see how Ove Trengrid is able to tackle it this time, knowing how much is on the line for him. He's nice and easy once again back on the throttle, keeping that Lotus 49 tucked right under the Cosworth engine of Michel Dudinot. Heading through Eschbach, still everything quite nice. A little bit of a mistake there for him through Eiskurve. Doesn't seem that it did too much bad for him. Sorry, I was Eschbach, and now we're going through Brünchen, or YouTube corner also called in English. Now they're coming up to Eiskurve. Very interesting left-hander. Closes extremely late, and you have that right-hand kick just after it. Ove Trengrid does take all the off-track he can on the right side there. Fransgaard now the right-hander just before Sprunghügel. Ove Trengrid this time very nicely through that section, was able to keep with Michel Dudinot. So we're on for the grand finale between those two as they had the last time through the Stefan Bellof S just up to Schwalbenschwanz.
Yep, there's
a little bit loose there. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just about to say the same thing as well, but I was just about to bring up the battle for P3 at the moment between Olenek and Michaels, and yeah, that's another battle for yeah.
Ove Trengrid now through Dottinger Höhe, just behind Michel Dudinot. This is going to be the chance for him. Great exit for both of them, but Ove Trengrid has the draft. What will he decide to do? He doesn't go into the draft. He doesn't want to make the move too early. Now he moves into a draft of Michel Dudinot. The Frenchman knows what's on the wall. Will there be a draft pass back from Michel Dudinot? Immediately moves into a draft of Ove Trengrid. The Norwegian over to the left side. He goes Tiergarten already up there. Here comes Michel Dudinot, number 1 car close in on Ove Trengrid. It's the 8 versus the 1. Ove Trengrid right now still leading ahead of Michel Didino. Will there be something happening into the right-hander at Hohenrhein? No, it doesn't look like. Wide though for over Tringerate. Michel Didino not able to do anything with it. Over Tringerate hits the wall, but he's able to keep it, I think. Yes, over Tringerate wins round number 12 here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, just ahead of Michel Didino.
Yeah, what a finish. As the finish, the podium battle's going on right to the line, and it looks like Scott Michaels finishes in that final podium position with Rob Allnutt finishing.
Billy Bob Wright versus Javier Sanchez. Sanchez is on the inside there of Billy Bob Wright. They're gonna fight it out into the last right-hander. Wright is riding over him. And Javier Sanchez able to keep that 5th place, whereas the Warren able to keep out of each other there in that last right-hander. Roman Pawlowski, 7th place for him in this race. That also means he's only gonna finish 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship. Probably a little bit disappointment for the German, only finishing in 7th. With all of that, we're quickly gonna take a step aside to get a breather, but don't you worry, we're gonna quickly be back for the post-race show where we will run you down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off an eventful race and season. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back after these messages. what a race and what a finish to the seasons we saw. We welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show, streaming to your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. And Decade den Mythos in dir, that's the slogan of the Nürburgring, and what a legendary race we once again saw at the Nordschleife here, with Overtrain Rate winning just the car width away from Michel Dirignon in second place. Scott Michaels able to get himself back onto the podium ahead of Rob Olenek, who is going to win the season. With that, he is your new season champion of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Series. Xavier Sanchez takes away a 5th place ahead of Billy Bob Wright. Ron Pawlowski, after hitting the wall early at the Schwabenschwanz, he's only gonna finish in 7th place, and with that, probably a little bit disappointed as he only gets a 2nd place in the championship. Fabrizio Maisani in 8th place with Andrew Eng 9th, and our Formula 2 champion Bill Tyler rounds out your top 10 of this race.
David Rossi finishes 11th. 12th place was Chris Murakami. 13th was John Francois Boscas. 14th was Antonio Reyes. 15th was Andreas Bruno. Rodney Evans finishes in 16th. Donald Peake finishes in 17th after starting 29th. 18th was Colin Coker. Don Good finishes in 19th. And rounding out the top 20 was Brennan Cleveland.
Marco Ravioli will be finishing in 21st. He's also the last car to finish on the lead lap, with Peter Mikus in 22nd. Telmo Amaral 23rd. Jasmine Beach is going to finish 24th. Trent Buss 25th. Dave Cohen will be finishing in 26th. He's also the last car classified as one lap back. Kushil Potanegra, there we go, in 27th. Edward van der Velsen finishes his race 3 laps down on his roof. Thankfully, he's only sim racing, and so can walk away from that one quite easily. Michael Sullivan will be finishing 29th, with Sebastian Tixier in 30th, Ajay Moreno Surita in 31st, Douglas White will be finishing 32nd and classified as last, and with that 33rd will be the Twitch streamer of Robert Plumley. Ryan, Season 1, we saw quite an exciting championship. We didn't think it's going to be that exciting, but since Mick Gladge announced that he is going to retire from the season, it opened up quite a lot of new possibilities here, and it sure did provide classic Lotus 49 racing.
Absolutely. It gave everyone a chance in the championship. People in the chance in the championship that you normally wouldn't see up at the front, or it gave a chance for people like Rob Olenek to sneak in there and take the championship. And also in the F2 championship as well, we've seen some great racing as well, and I think we've seen a deserved winner with Bill Tyler taking the F2 championship, and a well-deserved one at that.
Yeah, talking about a Formula winner, we're gonna now talk to the Formula 1 Championship winner of Rob Olenek, who finished his race in 4th place. Rob, first of all, congrats on the win of the F1 Championship.
Thank you, guys. It was thanks, Mick, for leaving the season early too, because I don't think it would have happened if you didn't do that.
Well, nonetheless, Rob, you really had to run for your money, especially because it still was on the line here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Only 11 points separated you from Roman Pawlowski. Talk us through your week coming up to this race. How did you prepare yourself for today?
Almost the same as every other week, just it takes a little longer to get around the lap here, so probably a couple more hours. My goal today was really just not to crash and finish the race. I definitely wasn't battling Scott. There was no way I was going side by side down into the final section of the track. I knew that I just had to finish in front of Roman, and it was the championship, so there was no need for really pushing hard today. But congrats to, Scott is amazing in this car, considering I think I've never seen him in this car before. It's incredible he can pick up a track like this and run like that. congrats to Bill Tyler for the F2 championship. He's getting a lot better in this car, and he did a great job.
Well, Rob, with the season closer, we have to look up for the next season. Are you gonna drive once again in the Lotus 49 race season, rather? And what is your target going to be?
I will be racing. I mean, it's just the same as normal. I just love driving this car. It's my favorite car by far in the service. It's just so lively, and I don't know. It fits me, and I don't even care what. I mean, I don't like screwing up all the time. Hopefully I do well, but I just want to have fun and drive it. I hope we get a bunch of guys up front for battles. That makes it even more fun.
Well, racing gets even more fun if you're able to win the season. Once again, Rob, congrats on that 4th place finish, and congrats on winning the F1 championship.
Yeah, thank you guys for another great season of broadcasting. I'm pretty sure your guys are coming back next season, and you guys do an excellent job. Thanks a lot.
That was Rob Olnick, your 4th place finisher of today and F1 champion of the season. Next up, it's Billy Bob Wright talking to Ryan Walker.
Yeah, Billy Bob Wright having a great race at the Nordschleife this afternoon and keeping out of trouble and being rewarded with a P6 finish. Billy, how did that race go for you, and what did you think of the race around the Nordschleife for today?
Oh, as always, guys, this place really can show us some special things. There are times when it's just a train and everybody's kind of spread out, but man, today was just epic at the front, and I had one of the best races I've ever had. Xavier reeled me in, and man, I haven't been in the car much lately. Real world stuff going on. For those of you that have been around for a while, you know that we got hit by a hurricane in October of 2018, and our homes are still under construction, and there's been a lot of that going on lately, and so I haven't been able to race much. But to come back into the car and have that kind of race, it was fantastic. I was one shift away from 5th place.
Yeah, I was about to bring up that battle with you and Xavier as well. That was the last 2 laps. That was fantastic racing between you guys. They seemed to be, you guys were racing each other hard, but giving each other a lot of room and a lot of respect. And yeah, how was that battle for you? It was like I say, it was close, but I guess in your shoes, I guess it was a joy to be in the driving seat, if you like.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said I was one shift away from 5th place, because Xavier reeled me in. I really thought I got away because I got up above 2 seconds away from him, and I was steadily putting time on him, but something happened in the 3rd lap. I don't know if it was a mistake for me or if he just got the pace, but he reeled me in. So I decided as we were coming up to 1 to go, I thought it would be better for me to be behind him, because I knew my only chance of getting ahead of him was on the final straightaway into the finish line. And it worked out perfectly right up until the last right-hander, and I went to 1st gear instead of leaving it in 2nd. Just double downshifted when I went to 2nd gear, and that allowed him to put it up the inside, and that gave him position for the right-hander across the finish line. So bravo to him. He put it in there and kept his foot on the gas, and it was wheel banging right to the finish line. So one of the best races I've ever had. Really loved it.
Oh, thanks for providing a great battle for us guys in the booth to commentate on, especially that final lap and the final corner. That was fantastic stuff. But before we let you go, Billy, is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
I just want to thank the community. I've been here a long time now, and it's been good. So thanks to everybody here.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us, Billy. And final question, will you be back next season?
No comment.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us, Billy, and we'll see you next season.
That's sadly all we have time for today. So, as always, GSRC would like to thank the iRacing Esports Network for having us on their talent lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. Make sure to like and subscribe to that channel if you haven't done so yet. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on track today and throughout the season for a great show, and especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen, you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to Chunladon, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, on Instagram at GSRC_rap. All of the upcoming races for our other series are now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down in the calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Joe, Sean, and Dougie, also Ryan, for the extreme great work throughout the season, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Overtranger took away the victory here in Rheinland-Pfalz, with Rob Olenek and Bill Tyler winning the F1 and F2 championship, respectively. With that said, until next time, sailors and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.